Hi, and welcome to our special edition of Tilt Talks, coming at you live on the Book of Faces.
On the Book of Faces? Did you just make that up?
I've said that one other time.
Because that was like a Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know that?
Yeah,
Arya?
Yeah.
And the Faces?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was called. But...
So we're on the Book of Faces
on
another edition of Tilt Talks. Why are we doing another edition of Tilt Talks?
A special edition.
A special edition? What's so special about it, Krista?
It's special because we're going to talk about the June 8th event coming up in just over a week.
Right. And what's the theme of this Tuesday Tilt Talks?
I'm in charge.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Truly.
Yes, you are in charge.
Until he takes over.
Which I won't take over today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm here to interview Jared on many things, but June 8th event and why you might be interested in that and why Tilt.
Well, and not only that, we thought it'd be a great way to get to know the hosts. We actually wanted to have John Heaney out on a call, but John is in Florence.
In Italy.
He actually sent me a video of him riding some scooters today, and some Vespas. So anyway, so today's Tilt Talks is an interview of me, my favorite guest of all times, and we thought it'd be no one better than Krista Hope to do it.
So with that, I'll now take charge.
Segue chair
I love
out.
how you just casually start taking over again. I'm just wondering where I'll see the questions because I don't see it here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either, but it's
okay.
funny.
So we would love to hear.
Carla can hold up whiteboard.
Carla will message me. She's on it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we would love to hear from you if you have questions that you want me to ask Jared. We'll do that. So I may not read the screen, but we'll catch it. If you send a question, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, there you go.
With that, Jared.
Take over.
All right. I feel like, are you busy there?
No, I'm trying to find...
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Feels like dinner time. We're right here, Jared.
Well, I'm never on my phone at dinner.
Well,
you have a rule that I can't do that.
It's true. I do have a rule. Okay, I need a Facebook Live. Can't be on your iPad.
Let's do it.
All right, Jared, tell us about this June 8th event, Raising Capital.
Yeah, well, so we're doing the event on June 8th, Raising Capital. Raising Capital, obviously we built our whole portfolio off of Raising Capital, right? We bought our first property in 2003. We bought 3 properties. I don't know if you remember that or not, but it was some fun times, right? It was fun buying our first few properties. In 2004, we bought 5, and then in 2003, we bought 64 properties. And what people, I don't know if they really understand how it works or if they really understand our journey, but in 2008 when we started, 2005 when we started buying all those properties with JVs, all those properties, we had to have JVs.
Yeah. Because
we ran out of money. How much money did we start with? Do you remember?
No, I leave the specifics of money.
Yeah, literally $15,000.
Right.
And, we rode the market a little bit back in 2003 and 4. The market was trending up a little bit. Properties were going up 4, 5, 6%. In 2005, we were able to get up to 13 properties. And by that point in time, we were starting to, get noticed, if you will, by clients, friends, family, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so we took on our first joint venture partner in 2005. And, from there, we built our whole portfolio for the next 5 years around JVs. Right. So on June 8th, we're doing our one-day event in Edmonton, teaching people how to do that. Because there's a lot of bad teaching going on out there. And there's a lot of teachings being done by people who are not actually playing the game of real estate themselves.
Right.
So we decided to put on an event. And this is another event that we've done we've done negotiating events and how to source property events. And this is just another one in the kind of aligns with the coaching program because all of our coaching students are in the process of looking for JVs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we're doing it. One of the reasons why we're doing it.
So you're saying that this is for any season of real estate investor?
Yeah. Well, raising capital is funny because everyone needs it.
Yeah.
At some point in time, look at us. Like when I first started, we had no intentions of doing partners. I had no idea. I had no plans of doing a joint venture with anybody. I wanted to keep it all to myself. Why would I share half of everything with somebody? That was my thought process.
Right.
And so when we started building our real estate portfolio, it was purely for ourselves and not really for anybody else. So at some point in time, everyone's going to need a joint venture partner, period.
Yeah.
Because you're going to run out of money, you're going to run out of credit, or you want to get started and you just have nothing. You have no capital.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Are you getting it live on there?
No, I can't find it. But Carla, if there's any questions, just let us know.
Okay. Absolutely. So let's talk about our first. It's a little challenging for me to ask questions because I know the answers.
But you might not know the answers.
Well, sometimes I don't.
You might not know.
Sometimes I
Totally.
don't.
Because your view is different than my view.
Well, it's true.
Right.
It's true. But I had an interesting.
And this is about me.
That's right. It's always good. So, not true, but I'll let them think that. I had an interesting call actually yesterday with one of our tips clients.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about how did you find those first joint ventures? Did you go actively pitch to them?
No, but softly I was. So, I was involved in a real estate group, and what they were teaching investors, people in the room, were to use other people's stories for that success. I don't believe that works. I think.
What do you mean use other people's stories?
If you don't own any real estate, for example, if we didn't own any real estate, they would sit there and say, well, go use someone else's story in the room on buying real estate to promote it. So for example, hey, Krista, I belong to this group and they're teaching everyone how to buy real estate. And there's so many people in the room buying real estate.
Right.
Do you want to do a deal? That's kind of the fast forward approach of it.
Yeah.
But what I've found over the years is that doesn't work. That approach of using someone else's story, it doesn't work because it's someone else's story.
Yeah.
So when we were building our real estate portfolio, what we were doing, we didn't know this, is every single day we were talking about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about properties that we looked at, properties that we liked, properties that we didn't like, why we liked them, why we didn't like them, why we bought it, why we didn't buy it, when a tenant shitbagged one of our houses, the lessons we learned from it, what would correct. So we just were talking about our story.
Well, you were passionate about it.
Well, no, I get passionate about everything that I do. If I'm doing it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so I'd come to the gym or we'd go to the family events or whatever it was. And so what was happening over the course of those 2 years, those 13 deals, is we were increasing the level of trust that JVs, potential JVs, people that we were talking to, we were increasing the level of trust that they had.
Right.
Because people want to do business with people, one, that they trust, and where they feel the risk is the least, the lowest.
Yeah.
So over that 2 years, what we were doing was we were sharing our story. We were creating our story, but we were sharing it with people. Along the way, we were reducing their risk or increasing their comfort by reducing what they felt was their risk, because we were taking all the lumps ourselves versus taking their money and taking the lump. So
when you say taking a lump, you mean
the lesson.
The hits.
Yeah, the lesson, the financial lessons or the mistakes and stuff like
Okay.
that, because people want to do business with people that they trust and where they're going to hopefully experience the least amount of risk on losing their money.
Yeah. There's just a lot of messages going on here somewhere.
Dinging, there's
Never
texts
been so
coming in,
popular.
there's people asking questions, there's
I love it.
yeah,
Totally.
totally.
I should be good at this.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
But that's why we're doing the event.
Yeah.
The event is, what we, in the coaching program, what we teach people to do is to, there's a way to give people that comfort and that feeling.
Yeah.
Can you stop that?
that's not me.
Can you, I don't know who that is. Can you, I think it might be my thing there.
Your phone.
But can you, we will teach people how to create that comfort in their potential JV without buying a house. So for example, one thing that I'm big on is a binder. So there's lots of talks on binders.
Yeah.
And this binder that we will show you to create is a binder that, so every time you look at a property, you should be taking a piece of paper like this that says tilt on it with all of our information. You want to take this exact piece of paper and write down notes of the property.
Yeah.
I was in this property, here's the address, here's what I liked about it, here's what I didn't like about it, here's what the rents are, here's the tenant profile, here's all this stuff, and then put it in a tab.
Yeah.
Put it in the binder, put an MLS listing, put watch it, see what it sold for, put a pro forma in there. Because now what you're doing is a couple things. One, you're getting educated.
Mm-hmm.
Two, when you go to find a JV partner, now after looking at 100 properties, you've narrowed your search down. So now you can go back to your JV and say, hey, Mr. JV or Mrs. JV, here's a binder of every single property that I've looked at in the last 6 months. There's 100 in there.
Right.
And here's everything that I've made notes on: property, profile, tenants, area, future, average income, average rents, days on market, everything about this.
Right.
So I can now give this binder to a JV, and that JV partner is going to, comfort's going to go up, risk, tolerance is going to go down, and all of a sudden they're going to want to do business. So there's a way to build that trust with a JV without having any properties. That is the right way to build trust within a potential JV.
Which is essentially what you were doing in the gym every day.
Totally.
But just a little more formal, with someone you might not be seeing every day.
Absolutely. So that is those 2 years or those 3 years of building our business on our own and talking about it. I walked away from that saying, oh, okay, that's why those JVs, to the point where our first JV partner, when we bought him out in 2009, I think he came in 2005, we bought him out in 2009, 2010. When we bought David out, I sat and talked to him and said, why did you use us? And I didn't talk to him, I talked to his wife. But I asked Pam, I said, why did you use us? And she said that David and I felt the most comfort with you and the least amount of risk with you guys.
Right.
Because you were actually taking an interest in doing it yourself.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant. Now, the other thing is, so that's one way. If you have no credibility as far as having bought properties, that's a way to do it. Or there's people who have some properties, and then to the next level is to get some joint ventures. So then they'll have a different way of doing it.
So that's another mistake. People do not talk about what they're doing often enough, and they should.
Oh, yes.
I think every single person, there's a way to talk about it without gloating and showboating and cocky. Like I'm a pretty cocky guy, and and I showboat a fair amount. But there's a way to talk about and promote yourself to others where you're going to catch their interest. You might not catch it right away. Yeah. But it's like, John Healy's, we're going to share this story, lots of stories in Edmonton on June 8th, about how it's like laying cookie crumbs all along the path. And you're not, when we were in Amway or we were in YJ or whatever other multi-level marketings we did, companies that we did, what they teach you is to make a list and go call them. Yeah. Hey, Krista, listen, I just joined this health and wellness. Oh, you know what? That's your skin and you want to lose weight, and not that you do, but those are just some of the programs that we did. Or you want to get your hair clean and smooth. Oh my God, I got this great product. It's going to make you money. It's going to make you money, and so on and so on. That's what they taught on how to. So you make this list and you go spam on. What we're going to teach is make a list. Yeah. And let's go lay cookie crumbs along the way. And there's going to be all kinds of secrets that we're going to share. Is how to use a pro forma and to attract a potential JV. Yeah. How to use their feedback to create a pro forma that will speak to them to want to do business with you. We're going to teach all this stuff on June 8th. And at the end of the day, why can we do it? Is because we did it. Right. We're still doing it. Right. We haven't taken on a JV in years, but we still play this game every day.
So what would you say to someone, because I think what can be potentially like offsetting or intimidating might be someone sitting there thinking, well, I don't have that personality like Jared. Like, I can't go into those conversations like that. That's not my style. So should they be someone who looks for a joint venture even, or what should they do?
Yeah, good question. If you're afraid to say boo to somebody, you probably shouldn't be in real estate, period. Or unless you have some money, you can get your 2 or 3 and then stop. You have to be able to talk to people. Yeah. And
you mean for joint venture?
For joint venturing. If you want to continue to grow your portfolio. Yeah. You have to be able to communicate with people to grow your portfolio, because if you can't, you're gonna have a hard time achieving whatever level of success that you want. Yeah. Which is okay, because there's no real right way or wrong way to build a portfolio.
Right. Carla, there's a chance my phone in there isn't on silent, but I'm sure it is.
Which is fine.
Sorry, don't mind the dinging. It just makes us seem really busy. It's probably a kid's thing somewhere. Yeah. Totally. And something I want to say to that this is more of a statement than a question, but I had a client yesterday intimidated by that very thing. But the truth is, instead of playing on his strengths, he was playing on trying to be like your strengths. So his strengths are in numbers and analysis and data. And way better than you and all of that. So if he pitches from those strengths to people.
But once again, sweetheart, it all comes down to people do business with who they trust,
Right.
and who they feel they'll have the least amount of risk with.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with personality.
Yeah, I agree.
It
That's
has nothing to do with it.
I just want people to understand that because you're so gregarious, it can be.
There's salespeople, there are introverts, there are extroverts, there are all kinds of different people building a real estate building business.
Yeah.
Let's just not talk about real estate.
Yeah.
And once again, it all comes back to there's a way to establish yourself as credible.
Yeah.
Without being me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, right? Because you can do it.
Right.
And you're totally different than me.
Yeah.
You know, like I walk into a room and I'm loud.
Yeah.
You walk into a room and you're quiet. You assess it. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna talk to this person quietly.
Right.
I talk to 25 people at once.
Right.
You talk to each individual, so you connect differently than
Right.
I do. I would also probably argue that the person who's quieter would probably have better success than a person who's louder.
Yeah.
Because I have to fight through the trust barriers a lot more than maybe someone who's quieter.
Good point.
People will come to you and say, I might resonate more to Krista because you're softer and you might seem more approachable than me because I'm more direct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, if someone feels that they can't do it, that's just an excuse.
Yeah.
And it's just like I was talking to a client today. We're sitting there texting on not yet a client, but I was sitting there texting with a guy on Facebook Messenger, and he's like, "Yeah, we want to do real estate really bad, but we have no money.
Right.
And I want to come to the program. I want to build real estate, but we have no money."
Right.
I'm like, well, that's probably why you want to come. Stop making excuses for why you can't do something and just take action.
Yeah.
And what I find with these big groups, so one of the things with our events, they're small. We're going to have 75, 80 people at this thing. And you've seen the rooms I've presented in, hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't, nothing lands properly when there's a group of 400 or 500 people.
Right.
When you go to an event with 400 or 500 people, cash grab, pure cash grab, plain and simple.
Right.
Because they're trying to fill the funnel for other memberships or programs or run to the back of the room and do this.
Right.
When you come to our group on June 8th, we're going to have seriously 75, 80 people in the room.
Yeah.
And if you have a question, you put your hand up, question, and we'll stop and answer the question.
Yeah.
Because if you have that question, 5 or 6 other people will have the exact same question.
It really is unlike any other
Right.
live event I've been to, watching you speak. It's brilliant, I think.
Well, you have a biased opinion for sure. But
no, I probably have the harshest opinion. Let's be honest. I'm probably harshest.
No, it's true. And there's lots of times where after an event, you'll come back to me. You'll be like, yeah, man, you were like, you know, even during it, like you're too hard, you're too aggressive, you're too intense.
Yeah.
Because once again, Krista you're so like, you know, like just calm and like just not me.
Yeah.
You know, you're the total opposite.
Well, soft, but you
totally.
won't mess around. You'll just hit it head on,
Totally.
which gets you through a lot of information.
Which goes back to the statement your client made. It's bullshit. The excuse of I don't have that personality.
Right. Yeah.
Because the truth is, if you really want it, you'll do it.
Yeah.
And I really believe I had a harder path than than you would have.
Right. Isn't that interesting? Because
Totally.
we all have our excuses, right?
But if you would have asked me that question 15 years ago,
right,
I wouldn't have said that.
No.
Because I just would have been smashing through concrete walls, smashing through brick walls, and away I go. Just
getting it done.
I'll have to talk to 15 people to get one. You'll talk to 2 to get one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so why, Jared, have you started an education division, and why are you doing these seminars?
Yeah,
in the first place?
Great question. Carla and I were actually sitting there talking about that yesterday. My first response was, I'm passionate about teaching. And she's like, really? I'm like, no. I said, I'm really pissed off about how people are out teaching bullshit.
Right.
And I'm pissed off about people who are teaching stuff and aren't actually doing it.
Right.
And if you follow people on Facebook, which social media now is the whole world.
Yeah.
If you follow people on Facebook, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, if they're not actively showing and proving what they're actually able to teach you, don't use them.
Right.
You know, I was talking to a guy on Facebook Messenger again today about real estate groups, and I'm like, yeah, so-and-so owns X amount of properties. And he's like, how's that even possible if they're out teaching this stuff? I'm like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
This world, like we have to be in the top 5% of residential real estate investors in all of the country. We have to. There's no stat on that. I don't know how to prove that, but we've transacted over 400 properties. So we have to be in that realm. So this world is small. I can pretty much tell you the top the biggest 5, 6, 7 investors across the country. And so we started our Tilt education program back in 2017 because of frustration. I was frustrated with what I was doing. I was frustrated with how I was teaching it. I was frustrated with the people, the audience that was in the room and not taking action. I wasn't frustrated with the people, but I was frustrated with the vehicle, the container that was being presented to them for them to try to figure out success. It just didn't work for them. So the whole movement is based off of frustration. But I also want to impact people as much as I possibly can. And my personality doesn't work for everybody. But that doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter. You don't have to love me to learn from me.
Right.
You don't have to hate me to learn from me. There's so many good nuggets that we have inside of our coaching program and our events that you're going to walk away with some serious good shit.
Yeah.
I have yet to find one person that's been to one of my events and says that sucked.
Right.
And in fact, if anyone does come and says that sucked, I'm glad to give them their money back. I have no issue cutting them back their check for coming to an event that they thought sucked, but it won't happen.
Right. I think that's great. I think that, I think it comes back to the basis of the whole thing is this is about you getting what you want. It's not about like making friends with you or whatever, but if people come in and truly want what they want, they will get it in coming to your program or being in your education. I
did a call with somebody, I don't remember who, but I was doing this call a couple weeks ago, and this guy's asking me all these questions. And I just flat out told him, I said, listen, I'm not here to be your buddy. I'm here to make you rich.
Yeah.
You either follow my path or you don't. I have no attachment to it.
Right.
And same thing with this. I was talking to another client today. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to do this and this and this. And I'm like, dude, join my coaching program.
Right.
It's $9,000. Join it, $99.50, $10,000. Join the coaching program. No, I can't afford it.
Right.
I'm like, dude, the path that you're going on, you can't afford that.
Right. Because
you have no idea what's coming.
Well, mistakes in real estate are costly.
Well, how much have we lost?
Yeah. Right.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands.
So why you? What makes you so great and so special?
I don't know.
I mean, I know the answer to this,
well,
but for the audience.
Well, we've already established you're probably more trustworthy than me. You answer that question.
I'm not actually more trustworthy. It's just that I come across.
Yeah, you're softer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do know, I've done it all. If you came up to me and said, hey, I want to buy 100 commercial buildings, I'd say, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I bought one. You come up to me and say, I want to do infills, I have no idea.
Right.
Go talk to that person.
Yeah. You
come up to me and say, I want to suite 50 houses in the next 5 years. Great, I've done 125.
Right.
You come up to me and say, I want to buy 400 properties in the next 10 years. Great, I've done that.
Right.
So why me? I own more properties than I'm gonna say this. I don't know if it's true, but I'm gonna guess that I own more properties than any other, or mostly any other real estate program in Canada. Once again, I have to be in the top 5. I've transacted hundreds of properties. I almost went bankrupt in 2010 following other systems. I've been through 2 downturns. I'm still buying. We're still buying properties. We're cash flowing. We're making money.
Yeah.
And it's not that we have 8, we have 100 plus. And
so your journey hasn't been smooth. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I've made a shit ton of mistakes.
Right.
We've made all kinds of, I'm getting a guy texting me right now saying he's been messaging me for months and months and months to come sell it. And this is a guy who sent me a text a while ago saying, hey, I got these houses. Are you interested in selling them? And I said, okay, well, let me come look at them. Or sorry, he sent me a text. This is all over text. He's like, my houses are better than yours. Yeah. So he sends me this text. He's like, yeah, my houses are better than yours. I can't sell my house for what you sell yours for. Can you come look at mine and sell it? So I replied back saying, well, that's a pretty bold statement. Yours are better than mine, but sure, I'll come look. I went and looked, and his are prettier. So he has fancier lights. He has nicer doors.
Yeah.
He has nicer door handles.
Yeah.
Fancier. He's stainless steel. I use black. For just some examples. I walked out there. He's like, you think you can sell it? I said, no. I said, because yours is prettier for sure, but mine prevents flooding. Mine prevents long-term repairs and maintenance. Yeah. Mine prevents expenses. Where I said I spent probably another $15,000 on my reno compared to you, but yours looks prettier. I said that's why you can't sell it.
Right.
So it's little things like that. For example, there's a bus tour that's happening. So I'm on Facebook and I see this notification pop up. There's a bus tour happening on June 15th, teaching people how to flip houses. The last house that we bought and renovated, we made $9,000,
Right.
$9,000. I bought it for $305, sold it for $470, and I made $9,000.
Right.
And we pay our labor, our workers, because they're all our employees, $30 an hour.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if we were paying someone $65 an hour? We would have lost $20,000.
Yeah.
So yet now there's groups out there doing these bus tours and
Yeah.
flipping. I'll show you how to flip. Now is not the time to be flipping, period.
Right.
If you're thinking about flipping a house, do not follow someone who's a realtor or someone who's not done it, period.
Yeah.
Back to the guy who's just sent me a text saying he can't sell his house.
Yeah.
Because they're taking bad advice. Frustration.
Oh,
You see the charge?
I see the charge.
It drives me mental.
So you're just really you want to inform people and educate them.
Once again, absolutely.
Right.
You don't have to love me
Yeah.
to get something from me.
So what if now wasn't a good time to invest in real estate?
Well, it is a great time to be investing in real
But what
estate.
if it wasn't?
I tell people don't invest in real estate.
Right. Okay.
I tell people stay far away. But not only that, it's always a good time to be buying in real estate.
Right.
You just got to change the game a little bit. You got to change the product you're looking for. You got to change your tenant profile, change the area, go to a different city.
Yeah.
I was talking to a client out of Vancouver. He's like, I can't find anything. Well, why do you got to buy in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Go to Edmonton.
Yeah.
So much stuff in it. Go to Grand Prairie. Right now, Grand Prairie is exploding.
Yeah.
You know, rents are going up $300, $400, $500 a month on tenant turnover.
Wow.
We're giving tenant rent increases, and they're staying in the property. They're not even moving on a $400 rent increase.
Right.
Back in 2016 or back in 2008, they'd be running for the hills,
Yeah.
and our vacancy rate was 18%.
Right.
So why me? Because of all that.
Well, and because you can point those things out for if they do invest in Grand Prairie, we'll prepare for this.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
There's literally nothing I haven't seen. I've had people shoot themselves. I've had drugs.
No.
I've had people shoot other people. I've had smokers. I've had dogs. I've had fights with tenants. We've had it all.
Yeah.
You know, we invested in properties that were cash flowing $50 a month. Market dropped $300-$400. We were almost paying, come on.
And have all your joint ventures gone well?
No.
I know the answer.
Well, I shouldn't say they haven't.
There's just a lot.
They all made money.
Yeah, but
Everyone made money.
but a lot learned of how to format it or get into it.
But that's all on us.
Yeah,
Because
no, I know.
they had no idea what they're getting into. It's up to me to set the expectation of the container, the safe place for them to play in, and we did a poor job with that.
Right, which
Because-
is part of the teaching.
We were following a system that,
Which is part of the great teaching that
Yeah.
you're providing now.
but back in the day, we were following a system that
Yeah.
we didn't clearly understand. I'm nothing against the system. We were taking bits and pieces from the people we were hearing on stage 20 minutes at a time,
Yeah.
taking it and trying to implement it.
Right.
When, we were taught 5-year terms. I don't ever talk about a 5-year term. I'm talking 10, 15-year terms. We are talking about holding on to properties for 25 years, and then paying it off. That's the dumbest thing, and that's the dumbest play in the world when it should be 8 years.
Right.
At 8 years, you should reevaluate every single property to see if it still fits in your portfolio, then decide if you're going
Right.
to sell it or keep it. I'm not saying sell it, I'm just saying reevaluate it every 8 years. There's so many tricks of the trade that we've taught ourselves
Yeah.
that we're going to be teaching on June 8th.
It's funny listening to you, I'm constantly like, don't give it all away. That's what I'm thinking. But you just have so much to contribute, and I'm always amazed by how much information there is there.
Here's the thing. I'm all about giving it all.
Well, that's the
we
whole-
struggle with that.
We've
for a
talked about this a lot, and the truth is you're completely good with giving it all away.
Yeah.
And of course now, just because you're putting in extra effort and time, you have to charge for programs and things.
I was actually in the shower earlier today, and I was laughing about how, you remember how much stuff I used to do for free? People would call me all the time.
Yeah.
I'd be on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
I got this question. I just had a guy message me the other day on Messenger. He's like, yeah, Jared, I'm in town for your event. Can we get together on June 7th? And I want to go over the Tenant Act and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just can't do that. I said,
Yeah.
but at the event, we'll go through as much as we possibly can.
It's hard because it's at an expense to you, and
I
you
can't
need
do
to
it.
have boundaries. So.
Can't do it.
Okay, so if people are looking at other programs, because there's still other programs out there,
Sure.
how do they evaluate what program they should be taking?
Oh, good question.
I love your. I I feel really good about my questioning with you.
No, that's a very good question. I think you first got to look at how much access are you going to get to that leader.
Okay.
So if you're joining, a group and you don't get access to them, to the actual face, like for, you come to me, you come to TIPS, Tilt Income Property School, you get Jared Hope. You're not going to get a binder of, actually, we don't even give a binder. We do give a binder, but it's blank. Like there's no manual in the binder, because what I find people do is they get stuck in the notes of the manual.
Right.
And they read ahead, they try to memorize it, they try to know it instantly. So that doesn't work for people. I don't think it works for people. So we'll give them a blank binder with a pad of paper with some tabs, a cool bag to put it in, and we make notes.
Right.
So I think when you're looking for a coaching program, you want to make sure that that person you're going to get direct access to really as much as you want. I think that's important. You want to make sure that there's scheduled private coaching calls. You want to make sure that person that you're going to be following is done stuff and still doing stuff. Right. And there's a big difference on how people bought real estate 15 years ago to how it's being done now. Properties are different. Mortgage rules are different. Lending, finding money is different. Right. Tenant profiles are different. There's so many things that are different that a house that you bought 15 years ago might not work today.
Right.
So the biggest thing that I would strongly advise is people follow people that are one of two things, or actually two things. One, that they resonate with. They have to be able to connect with them. And two, that the person that they're following has to be a massive player in the business. There's a coaching, there's a real estate group out there that has coaches all over the country, and you can go pay $5,000 or $800 a month or whatever it is to go use one of their disciples, one of the people of their coaching program.
Yeah.
But that person you're using only has like 6 or 8 properties.
Right.
And no offense, I would never follow someone with 6 or 8 properties. No offense to the person with 6 or 8. It's so easy to get 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Follow someone who has 50 or 100, where they have mass problems, where they had mass problems, because now there's structural problems, there's infrastructure, there's policies problems, there's time problems, there's energy problems, there's family problems, there's money problems, there's all kinds of problems.
And good stuff too.
Well, but that's where the good stuff comes from.
Yeah.
Learning all the mistakes,
right.
And saying, boom, gotta fix this, and away you go.
Yeah. There's a lot of education between 6 and 100.
Like massive.
Yeah.
I'm going to share another story. Years ago, I was standing with a lady at, once again, a real estate event, and she comes up to me. She's like, "Yeah, Jared, I'm thinking about getting property management." And I said, "Don't do it." Yeah. And she's like, "Why?" I said, "Well, for 2 reasons." And I knew who this lady was. I said, "For 2 reasons. One, you only have 6 properties. You have no experience to be doing property management." She wanted to create some income, so she wanted a job.
Yeah. And
so I said, 1, you have no experience. You only have 6.
Yeah.
And 2, you don't have the skin to be in property management. You have to have thick skin, because tenants don't call you to say "I love you." They call to yell at you and get mad at you, and so on and so on. So with those two, like, she went off and did it, and she had a little success, which is great, but her life is just upside down.
Right.
So, but once again, she only had 6, and she went and built a business off of 6. So that's all theory.
Right.
It was based off of theory.
Yeah. What else do you want people to know before, if they're thinking about signing up to the event, or why should they make sure that they're there?
Well, it's $297. Okay, first of all, and people will, that's so much money, that's so much money. But guys, I'm gonna teach so many lessons. And we have John Heaney coming.
Yeah. So
John Heaney he vibrates the same as me, but he doesn't have that bullish attitude or mentality as I do.
Yeah.
Right? John, you've done some work with John.
Well, he's outgoing, and he has history in working in sales. And
55 years old, farmer, sold his farm business, super great guy.
Where he's very different than you is he creates relationship really closely while he's being really outgoing and personal.
This is like for $297.
Yeah.
Okay. They're gonna walk out. Whoever comes to this event is gonna walk out with tens of thousands of dollars of education.
Yeah.
And like people are like, I'm not making money at $297.
And why would someone like John be a part of this?
Well, he's so passionate. Like, this is a guy who's passionate about teaching people how to invest in real estate.
Right.
This is a guy that would go up to you and say, hey, listen, you want to invest in real estate, you don't know how, great, let's go do he calls them live joint venturing. So he will take your money, do a joint venture with you, but along the way, he'll teach you everything about it.
Right.
Because he wants you to leave and go off and duplicate that model.
Right.
And that's why John does it. But at $297, I don't make any money. By the time you pay for the room, the travel, John's travel, hotel, the print material, all that stuff, like we're making very little.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to this. I got lots of thoughts, and I want to be as extremely blunt as I possibly can. I guess I'd ask this: why wouldn't you want to come? It's $297.
Right.
That's it.
And I just want to say, the fact that you're willing to leave here at this time of year tells me, I feel a little bad for you.
Yeah.
Like you're missing a great boating weekend.
No,
But
it's 30 degrees here tomorrow, and I'm prepping for the event.
I'm serious though. That tells you his passion because he doesn't miss those days, and he hasn't even been on the boat this year. So.
And I just bought a brand new $200,000 boat that I've not been on.
Yeah. And okay.
Right.
So
that's why you want to come.
Yeah.
Like I look back when we were building our real estate portfolio, and I know what's going to be taught at this event. So I look back at how we were building it, what we were doing. We would have saved ourselves so many headaches, so many issues, so many problems.
Yeah.
If we had an event where we're going to be teaching on June 8th, just with reporting, structure, like just the structure alone of the joint venture agreement is well worth the $297.
Right.
People should actually come give me $297 when they leave. Give me another $297 for hitting it out of the park for them.
So who shouldn't be looking at joint ventures?
Well, anyone who doesn't want to buy real estate.
Right. Okay.
Because at some point in time, you're going to need a joint venture.
Yeah.
If you want over 5 properties, you're going to need a joint venture nowadays because banks make you have one.
Right.
Or banks make you, they close the door, not make it. Yeah, they make you have one by closing the door and financing.
Yeah.
And so that's where JVs come into play.
Yeah.
If you want more than 5, you're going to need a JV, period.
Yeah.
I'm going to show people on June 8th on how to build your real estate portfolio and go get 20 properties with 10 different JVs. We're going to teach you how to use RSPs to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm going to teach you after 10 years how to buy those JVs out and keep the properties. You know how I can teach that?
You did that.
I did that. Why no one else can teach this shit? Because they're not doing it.
Right.
They don't know how to do it, period.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to leave us with?
I can keep on going.
I know you could. I know. That's a big lofty
No, I
question.
think it's good. On June 8th, we have our event. It's in Edmonton. Tickets are still available. I think we have 20 tickets left, 20 spots left. There's no run to the back of the room. We are going to be promoting our coaching program just so everyone knows. They're going to come there. We're going to have a couple properties that we think will be a good fit for people. And we're going to be promoting our coaching program. Our coaching program is only 12 spots. And I think we have like 3 or 4 spots left, not many.
When does that start?
Well, it starts anytime. So we don't have a set start date for the coaching program anymore. It's just whenever they're ready to go, we just go. But we only take on 12 at a time.
Right.
So if we have 12 for the next year, we have no spots available for the next year.
Right.
If we lose 6 in 6 months, we have 6 new spots available in 6 months. So, but that's it. We're not saying go run to the back of the room for this membership program. None of that stuff. It's really, really easy. Lots of Q&A, lots and lots of note taking. Like everyone's going to walk out with some good stuff. But really, that's all I want to leave everybody with is just make sure you're there. Don't make it about the $297. Make it about what are you going to learn, and what will it cost you not to be there is probably the better question.
And so one last question that I think people may not understand is, so Tilt's quite unique in being in the education division because you have all these other facets or pieces where you're a property manager, you're an investor, flipper. Am I missing anything? So why? Yeah. So, someone might look at that and think, well, it's a conflict of interest because he has everything to gain by selling us properties. Mm-hmm. So speak to that. Why is that a conflict of interest?
Well, I don't think it's a conflict of interest because I'm not saying run to the back of the room and here's, I'm not a realtor putting it on. I'm not making commissions out of it. You don't have to use me. I'm going to give you everything I possibly got for $297. And here's, there's all what's that guy's name?
Maybe you don't want to say his name.
No, that guy off of Facebook, the V guy.
Oh, Gary Vee?
Yeah, Gary Vee. He's always, it's give everything.
Yeah.
And because at some point in time, someone's going to need me.
Yeah.
And if I give everything I got, they'll either have success.
Yeah.
Or they'll come back and need me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the message.
I'm going to answer this a little more for you.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
I love how you do that.
No, it's funny because I've listened to you tell this to people before too, and it's just completely the truth. If people really think about it, if they use you in one thing, great. But if they use you in more things, it actually keeps you far more accountable. Because, for instance, why would you sell somebody a property that you wouldn't want to manage? Because you're basically selling them a headache for yourself if you manage that property, and you're hoping to manage that property.
So the problem with realtors is they'll sell a house and then they're gone.
Yeah. And
you're stuck with that house.
Yeah.
You know what? Tilt is a one-stop shop.
Right.
So we have the realtor division, the renovation division, the property management division, the collection division, and the flipping division.
Right.
So we have those 5 aspects of our division.
Yeah.
And we want to help people find it. We want to help people manage it.
Yeah.
We want to do the repairs for them. We want to help them sell it.
Right.
And in order for that all to work, there's a level of accountability that are in each level.
Right.
Because I can't sell you a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because if I want to manage it, and I told you the rent was $1,800, but the rent was $1,600,
Right.
man, that's not good.
Yeah.
I'll be out of business very, very quickly if I was doing that, which I'm not.
Yeah.
Go read our reviews. There's no client saying this guy's an asshole. It's tenants saying this guy's an asshole, which is totally fine.
Which is good for you.
I have no problem with that because that means I'm protecting my client.
Yeah, I was going to say good for clients is what I mean.
Absolutely. So Tilt is a one-stop shop. You do not have to use every layer of our company.
Right.
It's there if you need it.
Yeah.
Our job is to keep on coming full on with everything.
Yeah.
We play full out. Here's everything you need. Here's everything you need.
Yeah.
At some point in time, you might enter into our system at one of those 4 or 5 levels.
Right.
And whenever you do, we're there.
Yeah.
The clients that use all 5 have the most success. That's true. It's like coaching.
Yeah.
The clients that just call me and don't call you have a little success. The clients that call me and call you have the greater success.
Right.
So same thing with Tilt. If you use all 5 aspects of our company, you're gonna have some mass success because they all feed and support each other.
Right.
By supporting you.
But you don't have to. And
No, totally. I have no attachment to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wanted to.
Yeah, great question.
Anything else?
That's it.
Yeah.
You did great.
Listen, it was great interviewing you. I still feel like you mostly talked, but
No,
as you should on the interview.
You asked some great questions, and
Oh, wow.
being the host, you have to ask the question and listen.
So what's next for Tilt Talks?
Next week, on Tuesday. So Tilt Talks is every second week. This was a special edition just because we have our June 8th event. Next week, we're going to try to have John Heaney. I'm going to try to coordinate a time with him out in Italy. Yeah, so we're going to try to do one from Italy. It might be pre-recorded just because of the time change. And he might be on those Vespas or Zespas or whatever
That'd be
those things are
exciting.
called.
I
Yeah,
want to see a glimpse of Italy.
I told you all we're going in July. And so that's what's next. And then we have our June 8th event. After June 8th, we're going to do one more Tuesday Tilt Talk just to summarize our event. And then from there, we're going to go into the every 2 weeks with Tilt Talks. And I'm really excited about it. We're putting it on a podcast, iTunes, websites, all that stuff is coming. Carla's killing it. Any questions on the event, just let us know. You can message us on Facebook. You can email us. Jared@tiltgroup.ca is my email. I'm happy to do that. Carla@tiltgroup.ca, CARLA @tiltgroup.ca. And with that said, I got nothing else.
Yeah.
Anything?
No. Thanks for letting me interview.
No, thanks for doing it. You killed it. And we'll see everyone June 8th.